Hello. Today we're going to be taking a look at the one-click integration in between Adobe Analytics and Oracle Marketing Cloud. One-click is that it allows you to deploy quickly with a single click of the button, having pre-made integration with defined fields and business rules, etc., that allow you to operate instantaneously. These are fully extensible, meaning that you can change and add fields or change the business rules as you wish. Very common scenarios that people are looking for here are really around cross-channel marketing for cross-sell or upsell of products, et cetera. Attribution in terms of being able to see the um, effectiveness of a particular campaign step or engagement step and the outcomes thereof. Commonly, as well as the 360-degree view of the customer, which unifies the activity inside of a campaign with the web activity so that you can get that composite view of the customer and then segment based on them and then push that data set back into Eloqua if you choose to. The point is that these are extensible scenarios and they can be adjusted at any one time. The objects that are available for integration are all the standard objects, the custom objects, custom fields, etc., in both Adobe Analytics and Oracle Marketing Cloud. The people who are users of Adobe Analytics stay inside of Adobe Analytics. The people who are users inside of Eloqua stay inside of Eloqua. They don't need to have anything to do with the integration themselves. Today, we're going to show you how to set up that integration. So let's step over into Put It Forward. When you step into Put It Forward, the administrator typically sees the bird's eye view of everything that's running through this environment here from the Platform Manager. We're going to focus explicitly on the Eloqua and Adobe Analytics integration scenario. All of these are bidirectional, so you can choose to run them in one direction or the other depending on what your use case scenario is. You can quickly adjust the frequency of these integrations themselves. So in this case here, we're going to switch it to a daily integration. And you can also choose which hour it starts at, et cetera. So if we want to run it at 4 o'clock in the morning before people come into work, um, and have the reports all ready for them, you can certainly do that. You can run it intraday, during the day, et cetera, and so on. The focus today, though, is we're going to step directly into the integration. Now, this is a very simplified integration here where we're going into a number of different field mappings and kind of transformation logic that show how to set these things up. On the left-hand side here, we show the field mappings and how transformations are performed on them. On the right-hand side here, we show what happens to a record as it's running through that integration. To create an integration and a mapping in between two different sources and destinations, very simple. You click on the link here, and this will pull up a list of available fields. This is going to map the, let's call it the contact's external ID into the EVAR inside of, we actually don't want to double map that, so I'm going to change it to another one here. We're going to map the name of the asset. Let's call it that. This is being used here. We're going to map the name of the asset into EVAR 79 inside of Adobe Analytics. Now, these can be any EVAR or any events, any metrics, et cetera, that you may have set up inside of Analytics. You can map them into it. If we want to apply some transformation logic or business logic to the actual rule themselves, or as the data is flowing through it, you can see how that's set up here. But very simply, you click on the function button here, you select a function, and maybe you want to add a date stamp to it. It's very simple. This is going to add a date stamp to this particular field now. Maybe you want to search for a substring inside of it. You're looking for some very specific, values that, starts with ABC and, ends with 1, 2, 3, or something to that effect. The point is that you can add as many of these different transformation logics and business logic functions inside of the integration as you choose. There's dozens and dozens of them in here that you can use to leverage inside of your integration. On the right hand side here is what happens actually to a record as it's being processed through here. You can see by clicking on the source what are all the available fields that are available inside of an integration depending on the object. This is a very simple one. We're just going against a one particular object inside of this integration. If you want to add other objects to this, you certainly can. That's very simple as well, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But otherwise, you can see what happens to a record as it's going through here. There's a couple transformation steps. There's some account logic that's looking for it to make sure that the account ID is populated. If there's a value of if there's a value of something that's not specified, you can put some if this then that logic around that. So there's conditional logic you can apply to these as well, and how to handle records that may be improperly formed or improperly populated, etc. Very quickly, If we go to save this, we'll begin to exit out into that. We'll just look at one quick thing here in terms of like if I wanted to switch an object or add other data to that, you certainly can into the mapping. We'll just step into Eloqua here. We'll look at the available environments that we have for this. We can switch out to other objects and bring those into the integration as well. The purpose of this is just to show a very quick way to have these things integrated. They are ready bought to be deployed, and you can certainly make them extensible and configure them in any way you choose. Additionally, if you want to put some high performance filters on these to get more efficient with your data selection or reduce the amount of data that's going through here, you certainly can as well. Just closing out of this here, I'm going to step back into another function here, which takes me into the process designer, which is really outside of the scope of today's conversation. But if you wanted to add multiple steps into this process, it's very simple to do here. If we were to add like a child onto that, where we wanted to maybe pump the data back into another application, let's say it's so we have SAP in this environment. Sure, if we wanted to pump this data back into SAP for some reason, we certainly can. These are all functions that you can design inside of the platform manager and process designer inside of Put Forward. So that gets us to the end of our conclusion today for how to do a one-click integration in between Oracle Eloqua and Adobe Analytics.